Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Sobi Chako, Senior Pre-Sales Consultant with Sailpoint, being with Sailpoint for the last 3 years now. As you know, Sailpoint is a market leader in identity management and governance. Today, we will be focusing on how Sailpoint can collect risk-related data from different sources, like an authentication engine or an SIM system like Splunk, or it could even connect directly to the applications and bring in risk-related data into the Sailpoint platform and trigger different governance actions for the users in your organization. The risk of a user can be determined based on different factors. Things like authentication-related risk. If a user is logging in from a blacklisted country, for example, your authentication engine, like a Microsoft Azure platform, can identify that risk and bring in that information back to Sailpoint. Similarly, any activities that are happening within your applications can be monitored by an SIM system. And that information can fed into the Sailpoint platform to decide what actions should be taken against those identities. We can also connect directly to those applications and identify the risk associated with the access combination of the user, whether the user have over-entitled accesses in the application, or do they have any accesses which are violating segregation of duty policies. Example could be an accounts payable with accounts receivable. Today, we will be focusing on authentication related risk, how Sailpoint can be integrated with Microsoft Azure platform and bring in the risk related data into Sailpoint to govern the identities in your organization. So let's have a look at that. So this is a Sailpoint identity governance platform, right? This is an on-premise platform. We can also do the same thing with our SaaS platform, which is Identity Now, right? So first step, to bring in that risk-related information from Microsoft Azure is to integrate your Microsoft Azure AD. And we can integrate that Microsoft Azure platform using our connector framework. We have many out-of-the-box connectors. And one of the integration what we have is Azure Active Directory, right? So using that connector, we have integrated that, you could see here. And as part of the configuration, we can establish that connectivity between the Azure platform using certain configuration parameters, right? Like client ID and client secret and the domain name, etc. So once we have integrated and tested the connection, we can start managing different attributes of your Microsoft Azure platform. We can bring in the information and we can also push the information into the platform, Microsoft platform. And if you look here, some of the attributes that we are managing are risk-related attributes. The attributes like risk level, risk state, risk detail, and risk type. This information is present in your Microsoft Azure platform. So based on the risk profile of the user, the values of this attribute gets changed, and Sailpoint will bring in that information into the platform to trigger different governance actions. So let's see that in action. Okay, I am a user in your enterprise. I want to access one of the applications in your enterprise, which has been integrated with an Azure platform. I access my applications.microsoft.com. It asks me to enter my user ID and password. I am going to log in as a user called Amanda Rose. It asked me for password, so I'm just going to put in the password here. and click on sign in. Oh, my password is wrong. So let me put it in again. Okay, so what you are seeing here is the Microsoft Azure platform detected a suspicious login activity for the user. The reason being, the Amanda Rose is logging in from a blacklisted country. And it asked me to verify my identity, right? So I click on that. It asks me for a second level of authentication by sending OTP to my registered mobile number. I click on that and it sent me an OTP to my registered mobile number. In the platform, I will enter the one-time password that is sent to my mobile number and verify myself, right? So once I verify Sailpoint, Microsoft Azure platform will take me to the portal, right? Where I can see all the applications I have access to, right? If you look at my dashboard, I have access to certain cloud applications like Salesforce and ServiceNow. These are the applications integrated with my Microsoft Azure platform, right? And I decide to go to my Salesforce applications. And when I click on that, the Microsoft Caspi solution, which is monitoring my access to the cloud applications, will get triggered, right? It identifies that I am a risky user logging in from a blacklisted country. And it gives me a message saying that the access to the Salesforce is getting monitored. Do you really want to continue and use that application or not? And I decide to go to the application. I click on that and it will take me to the Salesforce application as you see here, right? So from now onwards, all my activities are going to get monitored. In the background, one more thing happened, right? The Microsoft Artificial Intelligence engine will elevate the risk of the user and mark him as a high-risk user in the enterprise, right? So those risk attributes in the Active Directory is going to change, right? Azure Active Directory is going to get changed. Once it is changed, let's look at Sailpoint, right? So this is a Sailpoint platform. And if I look at the account of Amanda Rose, who just logged in to the Azure portal, let me look for that user account in Azure, right? Sorry, Amanda Rose. I can see that Sailpoint have already pulled in those information that are related to the risk, right? The attributes like risk detail, risk level, and risk state. And you can already see that this user has become a high-risk user in my authentication engine, right? Now, what is the next step? What Sailpoint should do, right? That is determined based on the workflow processes you want to configure within your organization. You may have a policy saying that if a user become a high-risk user, you may want to disable some of the critical application accesses that user have in your organization, right? In this case, I have configured that. And if I go and look at this identity, Amanda Rose, in my identity warehouse, well, let me search for Amanda. And click on that user. Look at his application accounts, right? And he have access to many applications in the enterprise. And SAP and Zero Trust Directory being the critical applications, my workflow have disabled those accesses for the user. The reason being is risk level has gone up and that information has passed on to Sailpoint from the Azure platform. the similar concept can be applied to other security solutions as well. We can connect to your security solutions like SIEM or GRC applications or PAM solution, and derive the risk level of the user by connecting to these applications and trigger appropriate governance actions for them. Thank you for listening to this. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email on sobi.chaco@sailpoint.com.